As a public defender, Judge Karen fought for her clients' rights. She was elected to the bench because she believes in doing the right thing.
I'm very passionate about helping people, period. Sometimes life pulls you from up here to down here to teach you a lesson, and you're in a valley right now. And there are lessons in this valley. I hope you learn from them.
Objective, independent justice.
You can always turn your life around. If you keep walking, you can overcome whatever circumstances you're facing.
This is Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Maya Garcia is suing her mother, Frances Morales, in the amount of $1,375. Ms. Garcia says her brother got into their mother's liquor cabinet and claims the defendant should be responsible for the resulting medical bills. Ms. Morales claims her son got drunk at the plaintiff's house and says she had forbidden her son from attending his sister's party, so she is not to blame.
All rise. Raise your right hands, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Court is now in session with the Honorable Judge Karen Mills Francis presiding.
You may be seated.
All parties have been sworn in, Your Honor.
Thank you, Chris. Ms. Garcia, you are suing your mother?
Yeah.
Ms. Morales, for $1,375 of medical bills incurred after your brother drank alcohol at your house?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to be here today to pick up the pieces from this pretty sad story.
You think you're gonna pick up pieces in court?
Well, I had to pick up pieces in real life, and thank God it wasn't my brother's life.
Right. How old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay. And this is, it's just the two of you, your brother and you are the only children, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so what's the relationship been like with your daughter before this?
Before this, I got divorced from my husband.
Mm-hmm.
My son, Mason, stayed with me, and Maya, she went to live with her dad. So there has been this friction between
How long
us.
ago was the divorce?
10 years ago.
Okay. And so there's been a friction between the two of you ever since the divorce?
Yeah, there's been a complete communication breakdown between me and my mother.
Okay, so tell me about the relationship with your brother. You have a good relationship with your brother?
I love my brother. You know, he is the light of my life.
And how old is he?
He's 18.
He's 18 years old. Okay, but your son lives with you, the 18-year-old.
He lives with me, yes.
All right, so what happened?
So it was my 28th birthday party. You know, I had about 15, 16 friends over at my place in South Central. And my brother was finally let out of the house by my overbearing mother. So they live around the corner, but he came over and...
Did you know he was going over to her party?
I had told him he couldn't go, but...
You told him he couldn't go?
Yes.
Why couldn't he go to her party?
Because I was going to be out of town.
But he's 18 years old.
Yes, but I had told him to do some chores. He didn't
So he
do them.
needed to do chores, so he
Yes.
couldn't go to his sister's birthday party?
She's
Well-
unbelievable. That's the thing. He's not following instructions, so...
He doesn't follow instructions well.
Not so often. And I don't want him to take the wrong steps.
Right. So when you had to go out of town, who was there with him in the house?
He's 18, so
And that's what I just said, he's 18.
Yeah, so he was
Right,
all
so
alone
it's
in the
okay
house.
for you to go out of town and
Well-
leave him by himself in the house, but it's not okay for him to go over to his sister's house?
I was in a parenting conference.
Right. You went to a parenting conference. So
Yes.
that makes it okay to leave him by himself.
Well, he's 18. He can take care of
He
himself.
can take care of himself? Is that what I was about to hear?
Yes.
Okay, so why couldn't he go to his sister's party?
That week specifically, I
Right.
had told him that he had to do some chores in the house.
Like what kind of chores?
Clean his room.
Right.
It's always a mess,
Right.
a chaos.
What else?
I cannot live in a chaos in my house.
Okay, what else? Clean the room.
The trash, he never
Take the
takes
trash
it
out. That's always a boy's job.
Well, I clean the house.
Right. Okay,
I
what else though?
work.
What are the chores that he had to do that he couldn't go to his sister's party?
Basically, clean his room. I don't
clean the
ask
room.
for too
I
much.
understand cleaning the room, take the garbage out.
His grades, he's not been lately studying
Okay, so
too
what was he
much.
supposed to do about his grades while you were out of town?
Well, he had to do some projects. He was behind, and I wanted him to do that.
Right. And so he couldn't go to sister's house.
Your Honor, my mother's a psycho, overbearing psycho. He's not allowed to get a license.
Maya.
She stalks him. He's 18 years old. He's going to have so many deep psychological problems for the rest of my life if she keeps doing this, which is part of the reason he got so drunk that night, just the level of stress that my mother causes.
With
my
all due
brother.
respect.
Why do you call your mother a psychopath?
I mean, she won't even let him get a driver's license.
Coming up on Supreme Justice,
Crystal came running out of the room, and they're like, oh my God, Mason is convulsing, shaking. I'm like, what? Because I didn't even know he was drinking to begin with.
Right.
I go in there, and there he is on the bed and shaking, and my first thought was, oh my gosh, he's having a seizure. I go to nudge my brother, Mason, please wake up. And Your Honor, for a second, I thought he was dead.
closed captioning provided by. If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Supreme Justice is back with the case of Maya Garcia, who is suing her mother, Frances Morales, for medical expenses.
Tell me about the party, though. So he did his chores, maybe. He cleaned his room, maybe. But then he came over to your house?
Yeah, so he came over, and, he had a couple of his friends, long-life friends that I've known since they were kids.
Right.
And he's actually here today, too. So
Okay, let me hear what happened. What's his name? Mason?
Mason, yes.
Court calls Mason Garcia. Raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
So, Mason, you're 18.
Yes, ma'am.
Can't drive.
Can't
Not
drive.
allowed to drive.
Not allowed to drive.
Do you take the garbage out?
Oh, I'm really good at that.
Okay, did you clean your room the day of your sister's party?
I did.
Okay, so tell me what happened the day of your sister's party.
So I was very stressed out that day, and I wanted to be in a good mood for my sister's party. So my mom left to go to a parent meeting, I guess, somewhere. So she allowed me to go do that. And I wanted to get the alcohol. So I saw the cabinet, and, I know where the key is.
What alcohol?
So my mom has a liquor cabinet,
Okay.
fully stocked.
Fully stocked.
Liquor
Y'all have a
cabinet.
lot of parties?
With all due respect, Your Honor, it's normally stocked like a normal house.
Well, what does a normal house have?
A couple of bottles of vodka.
A couple of bottles of vodka?
Yeah, some wine.
Okay, about how many bottles of wine?
4 bottles of wine.
Okay.
2 of vodka.
Right, any rum?
No rum. Your
Gin?
Honor. No gin.
Okay. Mason, how often does she drink?
She drinks every night, maybe 3-4 glasses
Of vodka?
of wine, maybe
Okay,
vodka.
So vodka and wine, that's her thing.
Yes, ma'am.
And where do you keep the liquor cabinet?
I have it's near the kitchen.
Right.
But it has a key.
Well, you obviously don't hide it very well.
Excuse me, we don't talk to each other.
I'm sorry.
Do you have a picture of this liquor cabinet?
Yes, Your
Let me
Honor.
see the liquor cabinet. How many times before this night did you go into this liquor cabinet, Mason?
A couple times. I'd only take a couple sips here and there. I know where the key is all the time, and I always bring back the key,
Oh, so you've been going into this liquor cabinet for a while.
Well, not a while, just like if I'm having not such a good
Right,
day.
not having a good day, like, you learn from mom that you just go and you take a drink then.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you think he learned that? I'm having a hard day, I'm feeling stressed, and so I need a drink. Where did he see that
With
behavior?
all due respect, Your Honor,
Yeah.
I just drink 1 or 2 glasses of wine at nighttime.
Right. But where does he learn this behavior?
Well, his father drinks too.
Right.
So
Every night too?
and yes,
night?
every night. That's one of the causes of our divorce.
That he was drinking every
And
night?
actually, Maya had a case in court too, in juvenile, because of these actions too.
So she drinks too?
A little bit too. She's my daughter, and I love
It
her.
sounds
but
to me like alcohol might just be an issue in the family. Maybe there needs to be some counseling, or because there's a lot of anger here. I mean, I couldn't imagine calling my mother psycho in open court.
I know, it hurts.
I could not imagine doing
and
that.
that breaks my heart.
So you went inside this case and you took out what? One of the bottles of vodka?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what did you do with it?
I took a couple sips and I decided to take it to my sister's house.
For the party?
Oh, apartment. For the party, yes.
For the party. So, did you know he came into the party with the alcohol?
I did not, Your Honor.
Did you know that he was going into this case and drinking before that?
I did
He
not.
never told you that he was feeling stressed out sometimes and he would drink?
No.
So, you got drunk at your sister's house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And where were you while he was doing all this drinking?
It's 3-bedroom, and I have a spare bedroom that I leave for Mason anytime he wants to come over, escape mom.
Did you know that Mason drinks?
I did not. I did not.
You never knew he drank?
I did not.
Okay.
I am under oath, so I'd be lying if I said I've never seen my teenage brother with a drink in his hand.
Right.
Like
Did you ever serve him any alcohol?
I did not serve him any alcohol, no. He came in and the alcohol was concealed in a slushie, as he could tell you also, and I had no idea.
So you were in the back bedroom just drinking and drinking and drinking. How much of that bottle did you drink?
Around 70%, but I shared it with my 2 friends that she allowed me to bring over.
And all this was going on in that bedroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And you were doing what?
It was my 28th birthday party. The night was just getting started. I had like 15, 16 friends there.
Right.
So I was just having a good time. I was just enjoying life.
You passed out?
Well, I took a couple sips and...
Did you pass out eventually?
Yes.
Eventually, yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how did you learn that he passed out?
So I'm mingling with my friends, and Mason's in the bedroom with Jay and Crystal, his 2 friends. Jay and Crystal came running out of the room, and they're like, oh my God, Mason is convulsing, shaking. I'm like, what? Because I didn't even know he was drinking to begin with.
Right.
I go in there, and there he is on the bed and shaking, and my first thought was, oh my gosh, he's having a seizure. By the time I get over to him, he stops, and it was pretty terrifying. And I go to nudge my brother, Mason, please wake up. And Your Honor, for a second, I thought he was dead.
Coming up.
Because you're kind of standing on a high horse pointing your fingers. You know what they say when you point your fingers at people? There's 4 of them pointing back at you. Everybody needs to stop and say, what is my responsibility in this dynamic that's going on in the family? And Mom, it usually starts with parents.
Closed captioning provided by. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Supreme Justice is back with the case of Maya Garcia, who is suing her mother, Frances Morales, for medical expenses.
So you rushed him to the hospital?
So yes, called 911, rushed him to the hospital.
You're lucky you didn't die nearly drinking that entire bottle of vodka.
Yeah,
And so the bill was $1,375.
Yes.
Right. And why don't you think you should have to pay it?
I love my brother. I will do anything for my brother.
He was a guest in your house.
I know, but it wasn't my liquor. I didn't know he had the liquor. I would never have let him.
Suppose
drink.
one of your friends had given him a bottle of liquor at
My
the
mother.
party. No. Suppose one of your friends had given him the bottle of liquor at your house and the same thing happened. Then what?
I wouldn't have allowed that to happen. I wouldn't have allowed my brother to drink.
You said you didn't know he was in the room drinking. You said you didn't know that.
I didn't know
You
that.
were responsible, though, that you're responsible for what's going on in your house. The law says you either knew or should have known what's going on in your house, even behind closed doors.
But shouldn't she know
Ma'am,
also?
I don't answer questions, I ask them. You were busy partying, and you weren't paying attention to what these kids were doing down the hallway. And why don't you think you're responsible somehow?
Well, he's my son, she's my daughter, and I love them with all my heart, but I was in a conference, so I didn't know what was going on. I didn't even know he was at her house.
Well, you're allowed to have alcohol in your house. I mean, no law says that you can't have alcohol, and you say you locked it, but he gets into that thing all the time. And it doesn't matter what my ruling is here today. You said that you were coming here, and what was at the beginning of this that she said?
I just want to put it out there.
Something along those, settle the
Pick up the pieces.
Settle the pieces. Pick up the pieces or settle the pieces. Remember that? The pieces are still lying down here on the floor.
Coming up.
Because you're kind of standing on a high horse pointing your fingers. You know what they say when you point your fingers at people? There's 4 of them pointing back at you.
Closed captioning provided by. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Supreme Justice is back with the case of Maya Garcia, who is suing her mother, Frances Morales, for medical expenses.
What pieces are we picking up here?
I think she has a resentment towards me because after the divorce, she went to live with her dad and
But at what point are you going to resolve the resentment? Are you going to be coming back to me 10 years from now with another issue that arose because you haven't resolved the resentment? Or you're just looking on the surface of the problem because this kid is drinking and this kid is taking up for him and she's out partying and she's not being responsible and she's calling you psycho?
well, Your
And you
Honor,
won't let him get a driver's license. You guys need to be in therapy.
That's why I
as
was
a
going
family
to the parenting conference.
So Maya, if you're interested in picking up the pieces, are you willing to say, Mom, I'd like to go into therapy with you? Are you willing to do that?
I mean, of course, you know, I love my mother, but a lot of things need to change.
Your Honor, if this happens, I wish it would be like an order from the courthouse, because I have tried this before with my daughter, and she doesn't want to.
Well,
I'm
because
busy,
everybody's
Los
an
Angeles,
adult
I
here,
work.
the court doesn't have jurisdiction to order them into therapy. You know, you guys have to, all your adults, somebody has to be the adult and say, can we talk? Can we have insurance? You went to this retreat. Can we all go into therapy? But the bottom line is that's a decision you're going to have to make as a family. I can't resolve that for you.
Judge Karen's verdict when Supreme Justice returns. Promotional consideration provided by. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen.
But as for the drinking, you were responsible as the host of the party for what went wrong in that party. If one of his friends had drank the 70% and fallen out, you'd have been responsible for that person too. So maybe there's something you need to learn, because you're kind of standing on a high horse pointing your fingers. You know what they say when you point your fingers at people? There's 4 of them pointing back at you. Everybody needs to stop and say, what is my responsibility in this dynamic that's going on in the family? And Mom, it usually starts with parents, because children are born into parents. So you have more responsibility for how they are than they have for how you are.
Your Honor, believe me, I'm trying. I went to this conference. I'm trying to take him to
Well, you're
for
obviously not trying hard enough, because it's not working, because you're sitting in the court of law with 2 of your children in a lawsuit against you. I'm ready to rule. Judgment for the defendant, and your claim is dismissed. Good luck to you.
All rise.
Judge Karen has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
We really need counseling. Are you guys willing to go with me?
Yeah, we can do that, and I take full responsibility for this.
I'm willing to go.
This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.